Why is the iPhone 16 such a waste of money? The iPhone 16 just falls short when compared to the iPhone 15. I genuinely think that the iPhone 15 was a much better buy. And obviously I got the iPhone 16 because I'm a tech influencer. I create content on Instagram and I need the newest iPhone so I can show off all the new features and all the new gear you can get. But honestly, it just lacks so much when you're going to compare it as an upgrade from the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. And we're going to get into that sexy camera button too in just a little later. The cons of this iPhone just way outweigh the pros. So let's break it down. And for what it's worth, I'm talking about the iPhone Pro Max. So the phone's a little bigger and that just ruins everything that you bought for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. If you've been on that line, that means that you've got to buy new cases. You got to buy new cages and all the accessories that worked with the Pro Max. Now they don't work anymore. So that's just wonderful. Is that improvement worth it? Absolutely not. It's just barely noticeably bigger. Now I got to go shell out hundreds or maybe even $1,000 on a bunch of new gear. And I'm all for advancement. I'm with progression. But we got to ask ourselves, is that advancement worth the cost of upgrading from the previous model less than a year ago? That's my biggest gripe with this device, is that you're not really getting improvement. If you had an iPhone 15 Pro, it's not an improvement. But if you had something from like the iPhone 13 or older, this is obviously a major improvement. I came from the iPhone 13 to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I saw a huge improvement, not only with the camera, but with the general layout of the iPhone period. And if you guys remember watching the Apple event, I felt it kind of is magic when you watch the Apple event. You're like, oh wow, this really is a major upgrade. But when you have your hands on the device and you've been using it and you're comparing it to the last year's model, you just feel a little disappointed. And I think the photos cleanup is probably the best one, where you want to take out somebody from the back, or there's something in your photo you just want to clean up and get out of there real quick. That's pretty handy. But as far as the auto reply messages, I'm not using that auto reply. The messages that they give me, like, they don't feel too personal, or they don't exactly line up with what I'm trying to say to the person, or they don't understand the slang or what I'm just trying to get across. I don't really think it taps into how I actually feel and I want the other person to feel. The rewritability, I've done it for scripts. When I write scripts for my Instagram or my short form content, or even the long form content, you can highlight a section, you can rewrite it. It's kind of helpful. Obviously, I think ChatGPT is still a better option if you're going to write something out. But if you want to do something on the fly, or you want a different way of phrasing something, the rewritability is okay. And another thing on the Apple Intelligence is you need a newer device. You're going to need at least the iPhone 15 Pro and up to use Apple Intelligence, but it's not even available. And they said that they're going to launch it with it. It's honestly just disappointing. And there's a lot of sentiments online about Apple not releasing a product every year. And I have to agree with that. It'd be better if they just spent more time putting together a product that was holistically better and revolutionary and created some kind of upgrade that felt like it was worth it, rather than just a quick cash grab. Now, financially, as a business, it's probably better to release a new iPhone every year, because you have a cult following of people that'll shell out money, like myself, every single year to get a new iPhone. But ultimately, you could create a more innovative product if you spent more time in the lab cooking up some really innovative features based on the culture and where people are going and what they actually need. And I understand Apple's probably already trying to do that, but having some kind of user testing or feedback from people would be better. Now, like I promised, let's talk about this camera button. Now, the camera button looks really cool. It looked really awesome in the Apple event, but when I've been using it for the past month, honestly, the only time I use it is to take a picture or video of my kid as quickly as possible. Now, my son, he's doing something, he's running around, he's looking cute, and I want to fire up the camera button. There it goes. It pops up and I can take a photo or video pretty quick. But honestly, we're talking about less than 1 second to tap the screen and hit the camera button in through the traditional way. Now, honestly, we're really talking about a second where I could just tap the screen on my iPhone 15 Pro Max and hit the camera button and it'd be ready to go. Or you could just program the button that they already gave us to go to the camera app. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, it's a little cumbersome based on the placement of the button. And honestly, there's too many damn buttons on this phone anyway. Now that they added the action button and this button, it's just too much. And it's so awkward the place that they put it. It's kind of on the side here. And if you're holding your phone vertically, it's like you're holding your phone like this and it's at the bottom. So if you're shooting vertical content, which a lot of people are for social media, is just not in a comfortable position. And then when people do shoot horizontally, it's a little bit more useful that way. But as far as the vertical placement of this, it's horrible. Let's not talk about the touch features. The touch features with the new camera button are extremely touchy. Trying to navigate between the menu system that they've built in through the touch feature is slower than just touching the screen. So yeah, you can boot up into the camera app quickly, but you're scrolling through all the tone, the focus, the zoom with this little button that's already in an awkward position. It's just not very smart to put it there. It's okay if you're using the horizontal function, but for the vertical videos, it's absolutely horrible. I don't know who at Apple is actually making these decisions or approving these decisions, but it feels under-tested and it feels absolutely like a gimmick. And I don't think people are absolutely upgrading because of this button, but if you're thinking about upgrading because of this button, don't waste your money. And the whole point of my channel is to tell you guys what I experienced from using these devices. And don't get it wrong, I love the Apple ecosystem. I love AirDrop, and I just love how Apple devices work and the simplicity of them. But this is not something where you want to upgrade if you already have an iPhone 15. You're better off going to a used market and finding an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max and getting that. You'll save yourself, honestly, $700-800 for getting essentially the same thing. Another difference is the wide camera. So the wide camera on the iPhone 16 Pro Max has a 48 megapixel camera compared to iPhone 15, which I don't remember what it is. Maybe it's 12 or 24 megapixels. You don't really notice a difference because I usually use the wide camera out in the daylight. So you're not gonna notice a major difference, especially if you're out in daylight. Now, if you're in a dark scenario, yeah, there's gonna be more noise in the older model. Oh, also, can I mention, can we please get some cool colors for the Pro models? Honestly, these are the most bland colors I've ever seen. And you see, I got the Desert Titanium. And I just love the basic model colors way better. They're poppy and fun. And it seems like the Pro models, they're like trying to be too serious. It's all got to be like titanium, Desert Titanium. And what they introduced and advertised this color as isn't really what I felt it looked like when I saw the product. What I saw online versus what I saw in the product wasn't the same. So if I could just get some fun colors for the Pro Max, that'd be great. The biggest thing to me is that people think new camera, new gear. It's like a virus. Everybody thinks, oh, what's the next camera I need? What do I need? Honestly, you guys do not understand good storytelling. If you understood good storytelling and how to present something on social media or just in media period, you do a lot better. You don't necessarily need a new iPhone. You definitely don't need one every year. But if you had your little bit better lighting and you shot and thought about what you were shooting, you'd come across better on social media. People think that buying the new iPhone or a new camera is going to magically create better content for you. Well, that's just never the case. Plenty of people are going viral shooting with the selfie camera, the 12 megapixel selfie camera on an iPhone. The internals may be a little bit better on this new iPhone, but I don't game on my iPhone. I use my Ally X or my Steam Deck if I want to game. So I can't give you the benchmarks on that. I'm just a producer and shooter, and I'm really close and attached to the camera function and how that works. And ultimately, I've only said this, but get a bigger sensor on the iPhone and we'll all have better quality footage. I also want to mention the battery on the iPhone. I'm not noticing a huge difference in the battery life. Obviously, when I get a new iPhone, it's pretty great at the start. You know, you're going to have great battery life. It'll last you all day, but you know, maybe 60 days, 3 months, 4 months in of heavy usage on the iPhone, you're going to have some degradation on your battery health. So I can't really tell you what it's like, but the battery's fine on it. I noticed when I used my iPhone 15 heavily, it was about 6 months that it wouldn't hold a full charge for the entire day of heavy usage. We're talking photos, emails, browsing social media, posting, recording high quality content. So if you're on the fence, just go ahead and get an iPhone 15 Pro Max, find it on the secondhand market and save yourself $700-800. I've had a lot of people ask me which iPhone they should get, so that's my recommendation. And if you guys want to, please subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Do you think it's a good buy? What do you guys like about the iPhone 16 Pro Max, or even the base models? I want to hear from you. And every time that you guys like and push this, leave comments, I reply back. Helps me get into the algorithm, which helps distribute the videos better so we can build a better community. If you guys are looking for ways to improve your social media, you can email me directly. I reply to my emails. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.